Curt Cignetti in Indiana football might just be building the best transfer portal class of all time with three more names that we need to talk about.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day and the world's #1 sports podcasting network. So thank you so much for making that. So it's another bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. We've done quite a few of these over the past couple of days between bonus episodes and live shows and reels and reactions. I mean, it's been an absolute blast. But when your team is putting together possibly the greatest portal class of all time, you got to talk about it. And we continue to do that on this Monday afternoon, Monday evening, with three more names that Indiana has added since the last time that you and I talked like this, where Indiana adds two more names to the defensive side of the football and also an offensive player as well, as Indiana just continues to fill the gaps, fill the holes, and replace what they're losing on next year's football team. So we'll talk about all three guys. Okay, two of them are at the edge position. We know what you're losing there at the defensive end, defensive edge position, right? We've talked about Michael Kamara and Stephen Daly and Kellen Wyatt, those types of guys, not to mention your defensive tackles and things that you're losing on the interior as well. But Indiana's hit this hard, and we talked about it going into the portal, knowing you were going to be losing not just skillful guys, but senior skillful guys, right? Very experienced ones on that line in an aggressive Indiana defense that people are just begging to be a part of. And these two names that we're about to talk about are just that way. We'll talk about the Notre Dame commit first, a guy that we mentioned, but haven't really gone into a whole lot of detail just yet. Joshua Burnham, the edge transfer from Notre Dame. He visited this past weekend. He has committed to Indiana. And folks, when I talk about being built like a refrigerator, this guy's built like the old school freezers that you put in the garage to keep a cow in that you got for the winter, and you just tip the sucker on its end. That's what Joshua Burnham is built like. 6'4", 260 pounds. That's incredible. 6'4", 260 pounds, had 15 total starts in his career with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The thing with him, he has just 1 year of eligibility. So one of the few one-year rentals that we've seen for the Indiana Hoosiers, but he has 40 career games under his belt, 15 starts. He's got 65 tackles, 17 of them for loss, 6 sacks, has a couple of pass breakups, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery as well. Had 4 starts this past season, 16 tackles, 6 of them for loss, 3 sacks as well on the season. But look, we know what Notre Dame is. They're stacked on the defensive side of the football. They've got men all up in there, and they know how to recruit big-time players. And so when Joshua Burnham entered the portal and Indiana reached out and got him on a visit, it felt like a no-brainer. It's a very quick trip. You don't have to move very far. And as I mentioned, you're getting to join an aggressive style of defense that lets you play pretty free, right? And I think by watching the film of Joshua Burnham, I think that's how he rolls, man. He doesn't need a whole lot of coaching. That's the good part. 1 year of eligibility. You've been around quite a few games, 40 of them to be exact. You don't need a whole lot of coaching. You don't need a whole lot of polishing. You're pretty much who you are, and he is see ball, get ball. And I think Joshua Burnham could be an instant impact player, maybe even a starter on day one at a spot that Indiana was desperate to fill, and they did so with Joshua Burnham. But he's not the only one that Indiana went and got at that position, because they said, that's our second we've gotten there, right? Because of Osanami. I think I said that properly. Trying to get these names correct is kind of crazy right now. The Kansas State edge. But even that wasn't enough, because Indiana said, we got this kid from Notre Dame. Well, we got this other commit from Kansas State. But maybe that's not enough. Let's go get another edge player, and let's go get another edge player from Kansas State. And they did so with a monster again. Chiddy Obiazor is how it's pronounced. I heard it on several broadcasts going back and watching highlights. So if that's incorrect, I apologize. But that is how it was pronounced on several television broadcasts. Chiddy Obiazor is another edge player that Indiana has picked up through the transfer portal. He was in Manhattan for 3 years. Okay. He had 8 total starts in 28 games played. A guy that's from the state of Minnesota. 2 years of eligibility here. So that's what's exciting. You bring in somebody that has experience, but also has a couple of years to really flourish in the Indiana defense. And so in his career, 46 tackles, 10 of them for loss, 6 sacks, a fumble recovery there for Kansas State. And what's cool is he's coming off his best season. In 2025, he was all Big 12 honorable mention, which means you're pretty darn close to being on the all Big 12 teams. You are one of the best at your position in what's a pretty darn good conference, I think, in the Big 12. Definitely improved defensively, and you're doing it at Kansas State. Not to disrespect, but it's a team that is struggling to try to keep up with the times in all facets of it. But this guy, along with some others, played pretty well, right? 28 tackles, 4.5 TFLs, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup as well, and a fumble recovery too in 2025. So now you have options. That's what Indiana has. And we're going to talk more about this on tomorrow's episode with a Kansas State expert, our buddy Christian from Locked On Kansas State, who's going to talk about these two guys in particular. But Indiana went from being worried about the edge and kind of defensive end position to not being worried about it at all. And that is so awesome to think about, that Indiana saw a problem and fixed a problem in what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, less than 4 days. Indiana said, all right, we're good. We're not worried about it. Let's move on to a different position. So very excited about both of those guys. I think they are going to fit right in with the Indiana defensive system. Then there's an offensive player that I want to talk about for just a moment, and then we'll talk about who could be next, what positions the Hoosiers still need to go after. This one here offensively is not going to get a whole lot of people excited, and that's okay. You don't have to be excited about everyone, because guess what? Not every transfer portal commitment is a home run. Not every one of them is going to be the best of the best, just groundbreaking, break the internet type of commitment, okay? And I hope that I don't come off that way, that everybody that commits to the Hoosiers is the greatest thing to play college football, because that's simply not true. But we know that Indiana is very picky in the portal. They're very particular in the portal. They know what they want, and they go get it, regardless of your stats, regardless of your rankings, regardless of your production. They go get guys that they believe will make an impact. And I'm hoping that this is one of those on the offensive side of the football. Brock Schott, okay? He's a tight end from Miami. Yes, from the U, from the Hurricanes. Brock is coming in with several years of eligibility remaining, a former 4-star at the tight end spot in the 2024 class, which that's pretty impressive to be a 4-star tight end. That doesn't happen a ton. 5-star really doesn't happen all that much at the tight end spot, but he will be coming in with several years of eligibility remaining after being at Miami for just 1 year. Had 2 catches. That's it. Had 2 catches for 12 yards, and he redshirted, didn't have to worry about it. So he now will come in with basically a full career ahead of him. But he's extremely raw. He's also extremely big, 6'3", 245, and there's just not a whole lot of film or anything to base this off of, rather than his recruiting status and his rankings and the fact that he got committed, or he got recruited and then committed to play at Miami, which obviously is an elite program. So I'm excited about this, and it fills a void for now, right? Indiana won't have any tight ends that you can rely on next year, and maybe this guy steps in. He joins a bunch of young puppies, right? Because you're losing Nowakowski, you're losing Holden Stays, the 2 guys who have seen legitimate snaps this year at the tight end spot. This is not the end all be all at the tight end position. This could be the future of that spot, though. And that's what I think Indiana's going for here, a developmental piece, someone to get in there who has at least been around a P4 program. He's got the high school, right, reps and experience, and he's got the skill set to be good. You just got to kind of pull it out of him. And so excited for him, excited for the edge position as well. More on that in specifics coming up on tomorrow's full episode. But with those three, man, Indiana is rolling in the transfer portal. We talked today on our episode about Curt Cignetti being the portal king. He's still got work to do. What other players and positions could be next? We talk about that coming up right after this on this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Today's bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. Fridays always feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action begins. So from Friday or on Fridays from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, they've become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. You can open up the FanDuel app and see all sorts of cool stuff like boosts and bonuses and surprises, and the timing is perfect. It's right before the games, right before the weekend begins. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour from Friday, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers, this bonus episode that is, also brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like college football season, tailgates, packed stadiums, and being right there in the middle of it all. The energy, the bands, the moments that you remember forever. But actually getting tickets, it can be a miserable process. We've all been there, and I don't want you to go through that anymore. That's why you need to be checking out and using our friends at Game Time. They give the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to unlock amazing college football tickets and experiences in just a few taps. If you're looking to go to the Peach Bowl, I know we're getting close, but you can still make that trip down to Atlanta. And if you're looking for tickets, even if it's on game day, even if you're making the trip down there, you're just going to hang out around the stadium and see what you can find. Don't worry about scalpers. Use Game Time, and you know you're going to get in and have a great seat for a great price. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, terms apply. Again, that's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. All right, welcome back into this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here again, making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. As we're talking a lot of football right now, but still a ton of basketball things going on as well. We went live Sunday night, last night, for Indiana's 10-point win over Washington, and the Hoosiers back in action on Wednesday on the road at Maryland. So be sure you check out our content talking about that. Plus, all the football news as we get you ready for the Peach Bowl against the Oregon Ducks. And we'll be talking with a specific Oregon insider a couple of times this week. So be sure you tune in and check out all of our covers there. And of course, we're talking more about the transfer portal. So I don't want you to miss any of that. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. You're following us on all your audio platforms. And if you're looking for something a little bit more, you can become a part of our Everydayer Club. You're going to get access to a Discord channel that we're talking in. We're dropping nuggets, having fun, great conversations, talking during games. Also going to have access to a unique merch store for Locked On Hoosiers and our Locked On Podcast Network. Oh, did I mention that you're going to get this show ad-free via audio every single day? So no more ads. You don't have to worry about it. If you're tired of it, I get it. It's fine. Pay $5 a month to us and you get the show absolutely free. It's a cup of coffee a month, man. $5 a month, or even cheaper if you get it for the year. So check that out. We'll have the link for you in the description below. That's our Everydayer Club for Locked On Hoosiers. It's a ton of fun, and I would really, really love for you to be a part of that. All right, so as we wrap up here quickly on this bonus episode, who could be next? Right? Who's next? That's the question we always ask. It's like, all right, that's great, man. Awesome. Got another commitment. Got a position filled, we think. But who is the next commit that could join? And I think for this, You got to look at the positions, right? You got to look at what Indiana still needs. I think another safety is still in the mix. I think another corner is probably still in the mix. I think another running back is still in the mix. I think another wide receiver is still in the mix. And man, how weird has the Parker Livingston stuff got, right? The guy from Texas who entered the portal, then posted about it and said that he was forced out, but that seems to be debunked by now. I don't know, man. I'm talking with some people trying to get some more information on that because that's a guy that visited Indiana that I think the Hoosiers are very much in on still, and someone to keep your eyes on. So keep an eye on him. I think you are feeling pretty good about the edge and defensive end position. You probably want another defensive tackle. And I know everybody wants to know, what is Indiana doing on the offensive line? Those names have not emerged crazy yet, but they will. All right, they will. Indiana will get offensive linemen, I promise you. And it's a place that they want to play because I think Indiana showed this year that you can develop here. I think the offensive line got better this year, don't you? Yes, it got better from talent from last year to this year. I'm talking about development from game one to what we're seeing right now. They're one of the best units in the country. That wasn't the case early on. They were good, but they weren't great like they are right now. So specific names, gonna hold on to those for now because there's really not a whole lot of concrete there. There's some names floating around, but Indiana's been in contact. They've had some guys check it out, but looking for some more concrete info there before we take off and run with the offensive linemen. But I promise you, Indiana will be just fine. So still several positions to fill. Quarterback, you're good. Defensive end, you're good. Probably another linebacker in there as well. So Indiana has done great work so far, and another tight end as well. Great work so far, but still a lot of work to do. And man, we're having a blast covering it on Locked On Hoosiers. So thank you so much again for being here, checking out another bonus episode on our channel, whether it's on the YouTube side or on your audio podcasting platforms. Again, follow us, subscribe, do whatever you can to support the show so you never miss a new episode because we're not slowing down by any means. This week is one of the craziest of the year, and we're going to be here to cover every single moment, every single piece of news on Locked On Hoosiers. Okay, we are back tomorrow for a normal episode, Hoosier fans. All right, so until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.